2.
Welcome to the Marshall News and Views Show. I'm Elaine Conyers, and my guest today is the director of the Marshall Community Service, Scott VanDerMillen. Thank you for coming back. We had you a little while ago, but lots been happening, and you've been here now in this position for, I can't keep track. How long is it?
Been about 6 months now.
6 months.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's a lot that you're working on and things that are coming up. We want to hear all about it.
Well, thank you for having me back, Elaine. It's good to be back
Good.
and visiting with you. So, as you said, we always have a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
I think in the wintertime it tends to be a little more focused internally of what we do, and it's more planning of what we have planned for the outdoor season in our parks and those types of things. But obviously one of the big projects on our agenda right now is the completion of the ball field complex. Getting that up and running. You know, we have a goal to kind of have that operational by June 1st. If the weather cooperates, that could certainly be sooner. But the weather dictates when we'll be able to open that facility. And Preston Stensrud, our park superintendent, and his staff working tirelessly, to get those things ready. And for those folks that have been out by that facility, they'll notice that Preston and his staff had the opportunity to get the scoreboards up on the 4 fields that are out there. So took advantage of some nice weather here about 2 weeks ago. And so those are up. And so it's starting to come together in terms of looking like a complex that'll have some great fields accessible for kids and adults that'll utilize that this summer. So that's one of the things on the agenda.
We're going to have to, during one of these shows when it comes spring and summer, we're going to have to drive out there and do a show so that our viewing public can
that would be great.
It too. You
know?
So it's just very, it's been a while since we've been out there, and now there's last time we were out there, they were building this concession stand. Is that done yet? I haven't driven out there.
Well, basically, it is a concession area. Well, we won't be able to sell concessions out of there. What we're going to do is we're going to purchase a concessions trailer.
I see.
Yeah, and we're going to have about a 28-foot trailer that we will have out there. And we'll have all the amenities inside of that to be able to grill hamburgers and cook hot dogs and make popcorn and have beverages out there. So it'll be the unique thing about the concessions trailer, Elaine, is that we can pull that trailer to different parks within our city.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And utilize it for different events, whether that be 4th of July or the fire department has some fundraising activities that they utilize, and Sounds of Summer, we would be able to utilize it for that. So that's one of the advantages of having that trailer. So we have the approval to purchase that. We anticipate delivery of that over the next 8 or 10 weeks. And then we'll stock that with equipment and have that up and ready by that June 1st target deadline.
Well, then what's going to happen to the building itself? Is that in the future?
Right. The building itself will have, it's got sinks in it. It's got additional storage area. But the Department of Health mandates that you have certain areas, certain fire suppression, certain things like that before you can cook in one of those facilities. And so the price tag to be able to build a facility like that was above and beyond what we were able to commit to that project. So it was a matter of a cost savings. And
eventually maybe there will be something done with it.
Absolutely. But the trailer will be a good amenity for folks, and the ability to have concessions for our patrons that visit that facility will be outstanding. So.
And I think it's such a good idea to be able to move it from park to park for those occasions.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. I remember way back when we started the 4th of July celebration, you know, we just brought in a couple of grills, and that's how we took care of the food.
Right.
But anyway, so, and then what else is on the planning board for?
Well, some of the other things that we have going on while we're talking about parks and facilities and that type of thing, we're in the process of hiring an additional employee, a full-time employee in our parks department.
Oh, yeah.
We'll actually start interviews for that position tomorrow, and we'll run those through Friday.
Okay.
And so we'll be able to get Preston and his staff some help. Preston has gone probably the last, and I'll probably have my years incorrect here, but there were some reductions a number of years ago where we reduced staff and because of costs.
Yeah.
And but we've been maintaining more facilities and more parks since then, but haven't caught up to the staffing that it's required to get those facilities kept up and operational like they should be.
Yeah.
So we're going to add a position there. We're actually going to start the process fairly soon of adding a position here with Alex Peterson in Studio
yeah.
One.
Sure.
So Alex will be starting that process fairly soon.
Yeah.
So, we're excited about adding additional people, bringing different viewpoints and strengths to our department, and assisting the folks that organize those departments and head up those departments, assisting those folks with maintaining and enhancing the current programming that we offer.
Yeah.
So those are things that are on our plate right now. So,
And it's so good to see because, years ago, it was just Parks and Rec.
Right.
And that's all that was offered. And now there's so many other areas that they're offered within community services.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a positive thing, and it's been very good for the community to be able to have these offerings.
Yeah, yeah. Those branches that people aren't familiar with, such as adult basic education, our minority advocates that work with the school district. We have so many things that we do collaboratively with the school district, with our joint powers agreement and the programming that Doug Goodman and Cam Bailey utilize within our department. We're so much more than just parks or just recreation or just community education. So we have a lot of branches that we cover. That's an important point that you bring up. So.
In fact, the state community service, some people came down here. Well, it's probably about a year ago. I don't remember exactly. And they interviewed some of us in the community and that were involved with local government. They were looking at community service, and they just bragged and bragged about what was going on here in Marshall. Right. And they said, we use Marshall as an example for other communities, how the school district and the community service work together so that they aren't duplicating their services and all of that, and then branching out to help so many different groups too, like you say, the minorities and so on. And it's exciting to see all that happen. And we make the front page or whatever you want to call it, so it's great.
Marshall has been a model for a long time in terms of how we present services to the public, and not only through our school district, but our community as well. And part of that, part of providing those services is our advisory board, which you were sat on our advisory board for, I believe, the last 4 years, as I understand. And we'll be, just this last month, we welcomed 4 new members to that board, and I'd like to mention those folks' names if I could.
Sure, please do.
Stephen Meister joins us from the City Council.
All right.
Tom Bolin, who's the director of the YMCA in town, joins our board. He'll be a fantastic resource for our board and bring a lot to the table there.
And I know he said he was anxious to help in that way, and so it's good that he got appointed too.
Tom's going to be an outstanding member. Lucas Youngsma, who works with our DNR through the county, is joining our board. And then you probably are familiar with Renee Subi. She joined our board late December. She comes to us. She obviously lives in Marshall, but works with U.S. Bank, and has a passion for community services and activities that go on in the community. So
that's good.
Those are our 4 new board members, and so that's we have a full board now, and so that's outstanding. And as you well know, we meet once a month, and we're going to start engaging that board to get more acclimated in terms of those branches that we just talked about, and becoming more familiar with those branches and bringing feedback back to our meeting rather than us just providing them updates and feedback. So it'll be an engaging board. Nathan Dozie, who currently sits on our board, was elected our new chair.
Oh, okay.
As Carrie Loft has fulfilled her term.
Yeah.
And we just thanked and recognized Carrie at our last meeting for her leadership and contributions to our board. But Nathan's going to step into that chair role and do a great job.
Good, I'm sure, yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting and fun group to be with, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So you've gotten into all this, like you say, 6 months, is that right? Or
6 months.
And,
Yep.
yeah, so
6 months today, actually.
Oh, today? Wow.
Yeah. So
That's great.
kind of an anniversary date
That's
today.
your goal.
So.
Well, happy anniversary.
Thank you, thank you. One of the other great things that is tremendous recognition for our department, Elaine, and I wanted the chance to share it today, was my predecessor, Harry Wyloggy, who was with the city for 37 years, will be receiving the 2016 Lifetime Achievement Award through the Minnesota Community Education Association.
Oh, great.
Harry is one of two folks identified and that'll be recognized for that honor.
Wow.
He'll receive that award next week in St. Cloud at an awards luncheon.
Okay.
So that's an outstanding recognition, not only for Harry, but the community of Marshall.
That's for sure.
You know, because a lot of people did a lot of work to make sure that community services was successful and the community of Marshall is successful, and thus Harry was successful in that role. So it's a tremendous honor for Marshall.
Yes, it is.
So I wanted to share that with you
well,
today.
I'm so glad you did, because I had not heard about that. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I questioned him about retirement. I said, well, I can't see that you just sit around and look at the birds or anything, but I think he's really enjoying it.
You know Harry far better than I do, and you know he's not just sitting around enjoying the birds.
That's right.
He was actually in the office today before I joined you today. So he's working on a lot of projects still within the community. And Harry's going to be a tremendous resource in this community for however long he chooses to stay around. And But he's done a lot of things and put in a lot of work to make sure that Marshall is successful and has the amenities for our community to thrive. And so this honor is very nice for him.
That is great.
Yeah.
And and I think people are really beginning to recognize too how successful Marshall is economically, as well as with things like community service, sports, all that stuff. And the public, I know you get tired of hearing this, but I keep telling about Marshall has always been the regional center. And it has continued to be, which means you have to keep working at it. You just can't sit back and say, well, we're the regional center, we're important, that's it. No, you have to keep working at it and show that leadership for the area.
Right.
And we certainly have done a lot during the last 6 to 8 years too. And not that we haven't before, but it's we've had such positive people on these committees and really taking hold, and it's good.
One of the things that's really impressed me, Elaine, in my short time back is exactly what you're speaking to. Is people get involved. People take action, and people are willing to embrace change.
Yes.
And they want to see Marshall succeed.
Yes.
And the people in the surrounding communities and counties, as we talked about earlier, Marshall is a model, so they want to see how Marshall does that. They want to help Marshall succeed so that they exceed on the outskirts of our county and our region. So. We really have outstanding resources for people to take advantage of, and it's because of the people within our community that work together to make that happen.
That's right.
So,
and I'm sure we've talked about it. I know we've talked about this on some of the other shows too. Is that the Marshall Chamber renamed itself Marshall Chamber to Marshall Area Chamber, and we've gotten so many members from our surrounding towns, and even some of those towns, as city organizations have joined too, not just the business people, and that's really outstanding, I think. But we've got a lot of employees that come from those towns around us. Was it 25,000 come into town every day to work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It says a
so
lot, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah.
It really does.
Our folks at the Chamber, and you know this as well as I do, our staff at the Chamber does an outstanding job
Oh, they do.
of reaching out to those folks and providing them resources to be
Yeah.
able to succeed and thrive,
Yeah.
and thus they come back and support our endeavors,
Right.
you know, whatever we choose to do in terms of community growth. But
And there's been such a change in the public attitude too, because when I first came to Marshall, everybody was jealous of Marshall. Oh, you guys get everything, you know.
Sure.
But now that has changed. They want to be part of it, and I think part of it too is that they appreciate all the employment here
Right.
and all the services that we offer.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
absolutely, absolutely.
So anything else you'd like to share?
Well, on our city website, we've added a community calendar link for folks, for those people that access our city website. We have created a calendar through our School Today software program
Okay.
that Mary Tate in our office has been diligently working on. But essentially what that calendar provides community members is information on what's going on at the Red Baron Arena, what's going on in the school district, what's going on in other facilities around the community where they can select specific to, let's say they want to select the Red Baron Arena and
Yeah.
they want to find out what time open skate is on a Friday night. They can go.
That's wonderful.
They can go right to
Yeah.
that calendar and find out when open skate is. And we try to post those open skate dates a month in advance. And Doug Goodman does a great job of making sure that people are informed about that. So that's something new that we've added. We'll continue to upgrade and update that Our School Today program, but it's an outstanding program. The school district already utilizes it for their events. And folks can still access the school district events as well as the community events.
Yeah.
So it has a dual purpose.
Sure.
So that's an outstanding resource as well. The other thing that I would mention, Elaine, that we have coming up, and I don't know if you've had Darren Rahm on this show recently, so I hope I'm not.
Yeah. No, I haven't. So.
Okay. Well, Marshall is going to be hosting the state Bantam hockey tournament in mid-March.
Oh, okay.
Starts on St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
But it's St. Patrick's Day weekend. It's a 3-day tournament. And MAHA, which is our local youth hockey group,
Sure.
They're organizing the tournament and working directly with Darren over at the Chamber to put that tournament on. But you'll see probably every hotel room filled in the community for those 3 days.
Sure.
And the restaurants will be busy with folks, having to eat.
Yeah.
And parking will be at a premium out at the arena.
Yeah.
But that's one of those outstanding events that, because of the commitment that the community has made to support the arena, that's one of those events that we will strive to bring into this community and have folks come to Marshall for a weekend, spend time, and leave here thinking, wow, what a great community, what a great product that they have.
Yeah.
We want to come back.
That's right.
Yeah.
And so tremendous that they're picking Southwest Minnesota, because that's quite a drive for a lot of people.
A lot of folks.
Usually things like that take place in the Twin Cities type
Absolutely.
of thing. It always has been centered around there.
Yeah.
So this is great that they're coming out here.
Right. Yeah. It's absolutely. It's a great thing for the community. It's a great thing for the businesses.
Yes.
The economic impact is outstanding, and Darren Rahm could speak more to that. But above and beyond that, it's one of those services that is outstanding that a community like Marshall in Southwest Minnesota that can provide.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And it takes a lot of people. That MAHA group, our city staff, the chamber staff. It takes a lot of people to put on an event like that. They don't just drive into town and turn the lights on. So
right. Well, and then just the idea too that we have tournaments lined up, and that's what the CVB people have been working with, and we have tournaments here for the entire season.
Right.
And there were a lot of doubters out there. Oh, that's not going to happen. They're not going to. Well, yeah, they lined them up this summer, and it's all set.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
it's wonderful.
Yeah. So we'll continue to host events like that, and Alex Peterson and his Studio One staff will play a vital role in terms of a tournament like that.
Sure.
Above and beyond for those folks that haven't been able to get out to the arena and take in an event yet. Some of the things that Alex is producing just in terms of our video board production is outstanding, and folks leave here with a wow factor.
Wow.
And that's because of the work that Alex does and his staff. So we have some great things going on, but winter, hopefully, for our sake, is winding down.
Yeah.
And then, we'll start on summer stuff, the opening of the Aquatic Center. That's always,
sure, yes.
we always time that with the end of school, and kids get excited about
Right.
that. Spending summer at the pool with their friends and those
Yes.
types of things. Our Talents Academy that was very successful last year had over 500 kids involved in that.
Great.
So Doug is currently working on that and getting that set up for summer. So we always have things going on, and we're always planning for them in advance. But those are some of the highlights that we have going on right now. So.
It's tremendous, and it's a wonderful community, a wonderful place to live, and we've got so many good people here. I don't see where anybody would want to leave. You'll find that too. You'll just want to stay on.
Well, especially when it's 40 below and the wind's blowing 20 miles an hour, right?
Right.
Who would ever want to move to Florida?
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but we learned to cope. So.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So. Yeah, it's a wonderful. The community services is a wonderful organization, and I was very proud to be a part of that for those years, and met a lot of interesting people who had a lot of passion for things to be dealt with in the community, and they supported it, 100%. It's very good to be a part of a group that's so positive, and it has vision, and then make it happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, one of the last things, if we have time, one of the other things that we're doing that isn't on the front of our plate, but it's certainly in the works, and we've been working on it for a couple months, is Community Services is working on a new logo that identifies MCS. And I don't know that a lot of folks are familiar with our current logo, so that's one of the reasons why we thought, well, maybe this might be a good time for change.
Yeah.
And we actually have 6 concepts. We have it down to 6 concepts, and we're letting our advisory board take a look at those concepts right now and try to narrow those down to 3.
Okay.
And then we anticipate having a social media contest where we put those 3 concepts out on Facebook and Twitter, and let our supporters and let our fans look at it, and our patrons, our citizens, and we'll let them have a voice in terms of getting it down to 2 and potentially 1. We anticipate being able to do that within the next 4 weeks.
Wow.
So that'll be something for folks to look for on our social media sites. So.
And so that just help me figure this out now. That logo right now is the state of Minnesota with highlighting Marshall.
Well, that is the city's logo.
Oh, and this is just
this is just exclusive to Marshall Community Services.
Oh, I thought it was going to be this
No.
city.
I think
thing.
the city just redid theirs probably
Not
within
very-
the last year or 2.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and that's an outstanding logo. And you're right, they utilized the state of Minnesota, and they have 3 real eye-catching colors incorporated in that, and the sunshine focused right on Marshall.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's an outstanding logo, and that's what we want to present to the public as well too.
No, I don't remember. What is the logo? I should know that. I'm sorry.
Well, it's kind of funny. I don't know if you recall at one of our advisory board meetings, but I posed that question in one of my first meetings with you folks.
Okay.
And only one of our advisory council could identify it. It was up on the wall in a frame,
There.
and Carrie Loft had identified
you
it. Yeah, and but it's some clip art that is identified with Marshall Community Services,
Yeah,
and it
okay.
talks and it has some of our mission statement in there about building partnerships through
Sure.
work and through your community.
Okay.
And we just felt it was an ideal time for change.
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with change, but you know as well as I do how important it is to identify with a logo,
Yes.
regardless of what that is.
Yeah,
So.
yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, well, I feel better that I'm not the only one that did.
No, you weren't the only one. So So it's
But now
probably
with all of this publicity building up to this, people are going to really know what to memorize it. And
Absolutely.
It's going to be a great thing.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. You want to associate your logo with the quality services that
Yeah.
you provide.
Sure.
And just as you identify with whether it be the Facebook logo or the Coca-Cola logo,
Yeah.
people can identify with that, and we want folks to feel comfortable and identify with community services because of all the great things that we provide.
Right.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, well, it's an exciting time for the community, and your enthusiasm certainly shows. You're really
Well, thank you.
like what you're doing, obviously, because you're
I
very
do.
enthusiastic
I do.
about it. So that's great.
It's because of the great people that I work with and folks
Good.
like yourself that are extremely supportive in this community.
Well, that's wonderful to hear, and we're just very happy to have you. That's for sure.
Thank you.
So, yeah, it's also now as the year moves on, it is exciting when spring comes around and all the activities
Yeah.
that go with that, and when we move into each season, it's just we're not doing the same thing all the time. Well, sometimes, but I mean, we also have other activities going out there.
Always
Just
something different
something-
going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah, and I think that the way the community services offers help to our school kids, not just immigrants, but all the schools, after-school programs, I think are just tremendous.
Our after-school program is outstanding.
it
You're
is.
absolutely right about that.
Because mothers work now, and back in my day, I started working, and nobody even talked about it because you're not supposed to work when you have kids.
Yeah.
That's all changed.
Now it's the way of
Everything
the
is-
world.
That is,
Yeah.
and it's working out just fine.
And dual parents working and,
Yeah.
and kids being active in whether it be extracurriculars or our after-school program,
Mm-hmm.
and they're finding things to do above and beyond sports even.
Right,
And
exactly,
but as
yeah.
long as they get involved in something and interested in something, they'll carry that on.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah.
So, and it helps the kids to have more interest in different things, and it keeps them safe after school too.
Well, and I think it keeps your community a lot more well-rounded.
Oh, yes.
With the diverse population that we have in our community, everybody's going to have a different interest. We're going to have a faction that's going to be interested in soccer. We're going to have a faction that's interested in hockey. We're going to have a faction that is really interested in whatever the Talent Academy is offering.
Yeah.
In terms of crafts or science or technology or whatever the case might be. So we have to meet those needs and those interests so that we are a well-rounded community. We want to get to the point where, folks don't always have to ask, what's there for us. We want people to know that
Know
there's
that.
things there for them.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. So it's really great. So, well, you're obviously settled into the community now too, and you've been extremely busy but also, like you mentioned, you've got a good staff, and they've been around for a while. and-
Outstanding staff.
Yes,
Yes.
and they can really do a lot of things, and we've had change within the city government. Well, you're coming on, and then also Nick coming in as city
Yes,
administrator.
yeah.
It was kind of a shock to the council when all of a sudden we had all these people that were really top people. We
Yeah,
had to find
a lot of turnover.
real
Yeah.
turnover, but it got done, and things continue to be.
Change
really
can be
great.
good.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, I sure appreciate all the work that you do, and I appreciate your coming in today. And we'll have you back soon.
Sounds good.
And probably go out to the arena to
That'd be
see
great.
that progress out there.
Yeah, that'd be outstanding. We'd
So,
love to do that.
good,
So
good.
thank you,
Thank
Elaine.
you.
You betcha.
Yeah.